On Nationwide this evening, we have stories of nature and wildlife from around the country. We meet the men who are making seats which are being located in places of natural beauty around Ireland. Also, Derek Mooney takes us to a conservation area in County Cork to see how nature and wildlife are thriving there. You're welcome to Nationwide and to the Phoenix Park here in the heart of Dublin, where this evening we have our eye on nature and on the beauty and diversity of our natural heritage. Later, we'll be finding out about the wildlife here at the park. But first, Cuskinny Nature Reserve near Cove in County Cork is home to a host of wildlife. It's a mixture of swamp, wetland, woodland and grassland. Derek Mooney has been there in search of one of his favourite birds, the little egret.
Of all the species that appear on the Irish bird list, and there are many, the most conspicuous for me is the little egret. With its tall, slender body, brilliant white plumage and vibrant yellow legs, this bird stands out from the crowd. I saw my first little egret in the late 1990s in Cork Harbour, and I'm back again, this time at Cuskinny Marsh Nature Reserve in Cove, to renew old acquaintances, not just with the bird, but also with local ornithologist Jim Wilson.
No, because of all the birds.
So, Jim, I've never been to this end of Cuskinny Marsh before.
Really?
No.
Yeah, because you're always right up here at the far end. Yeah, to the dawn course, some oyster catchers.
Plenty of oyster catcher coming in.
Yeah.
In fact, there's a great variety of waterfowl and waders right here, isn't there?
Oh, it's just a lovely little microcosm of the Irish landscape, to be honest. It's got everything.
But such a myriad of birds. You've lots of waterfowl,
absolutely,
plenty of waders, and a flock just gone up there. I think one of your favourite species, if I'm not mistaken.
Black-tailed godwits from
all the way
Iceland.
from Iceland, yeah.
Oh,
It's like a squadron, isn't it? Are they going to come right over and see a thing this time?
Yeah, here there they go, look. Get down low, here they go. There, look, yeah. Yeah. This is like a little magnet for lots of the gulls come in, because even though it's not totally fresh water, they come in here to wash.
Yeah.
So we've counted thousands, like a conveyor belt. They come in and wash and they'd fly back out to the harbour to hunt. Then you got the ducks. You got mallard, teal, shelduck are here at the moment as well, right, which are our biggest duck. So it's an absolutely perfect spot for anybody who wants to come out and
see birds.
See birds, yeah.
And here's the bird we've come to see, the little egret. Only there's more than one.
There is, Derek. I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 little egrets here.
That's incredible.
If you came here in the 1980s, you'd have been lucky to see one in this part of the country in the whole year. But since the 1980s, the numbers have just gone up and up and up. And the highest count here at Cuskinny in recent times has been as many as 19 together.
Well, that's a lot of birds.
That's a lot of birds.
And as I was saying, they are very conspicuous.
They are.
You cannot miss them.
No, and I mean, for people beginning bird watching out like that,
it's the perfect
they're
bird.
A nice, easy one to identify.
I think that's why I'm able to identify it. I remember the very first one you showed me at Belvelly, and that was the late 1990s.
That's correct. Yeah, and that was just before they bred in Ireland for the first time. The first Irish record, 1940, in County Cork.
Oh, really? That far ago?
Yeah, okay. But only ones and twos in the whole country up to the 1950s. And then from the late 1950s onwards, the numbers really started to creep up. And then they bred for the first time down in the Blackwater, on the Waterford side, in 1997, I think it was, 26 years ago. And then in Cork the following year. This is the best place to see them, here on the Nature Reserve of Cuskinny. And we've had counts of up to 15 or 16 together. And they're going to start breeding soon, but they're breeding very close by. They like to breed with the grey heron, actually. A lot of them are found where the grey heron breeds, their bigger cousin. They can live to be over 20 years of age.
That's a great age for a bird.
It is a great age for a bird like that.
Especially one so conspicuous.
Absolutely.
That you would think would be standing out for any predator to come and get them.
Absolutely. But they're thriving.
But should they be here at all? You'll say yes because they are here,
of
but
course.
They're not from here.
Yeah, no, and sometimes people would ask me, like, did they escape from a zoo? Because they have that kind of exotic look about them.
Very exotic.
And people who've gone on holidays to Spain, Portugal or America would have seen these birds, and they wouldn't associate them with the Irish landscape. But they arrived naturally, and the general consensus is climate change.
Right.
Milder winters. These birds feed, and we've seen them here earlier this morning, and they were hunting for shrimp and small fish in the channel just here behind us. And if it gets very cold, all the shrimp and fish go into deeper water, which is warmer, so they can't get at the food. So they starve and die. Even grey herons do that. If it's a cold snap for even 8 or 10 days, a lot of them will die of starvation.
Okay, yeah.
But with the milder winters we're having, and look, it's February at the moment.
And it's beautiful.
You know, and it's like fantastic.
The rain is holding off, and it's very mild.
So they're able to find enough food all year round now. So why do we bother going back down
So what
to
are they
France?
feeding on exactly?
Shrimps
Yep.
and small fish.
But they've got an interesting way of fishing and feeding, haven't they?
They do. Unlike the grey heron, which most people are used to corries, as we call it, the Irish name for the little egret is the Egret biogs. I digress. Well, the little egret moves after its food. The grey heron is like a statue. It comes to me. I have a big long neck with a big sharp beak, and when it gets close enough, I'm lightning fast and I grab it. Little egrets, cousins, similar, but I often say that they look like they're a bit more highly strung. They can't wait. I can't stand still. So I'm moving around all the time and I'm looking for them. And as you rightly brought up, one of the techniques they use, which the herons rarely if ever use, is their yellow feet. They will shuffle them in the water. They'll shuffle them, especially where there's weed or rocks, where there might be shrimps and small fish hiding, because that's what they'll do in shallow water. And they just, The
egret shuffle.
And next thing, they'll disturb them, and lightning fast, they'll run after them, and they'll strike at them with their sharp beak.
Oh my goodness.
So
the swan gun overhead. It's a juvenile
it's
too.
a young one. It's going to be in trouble because the adults won't allow it to stay. These swans are going to attack it. The poor thing, if it lands in, they'll attack it because they don't want it in here for the breeding season. Look, they're already, they're threatening it already. And
would you say it's the first or second year?
This was born last year, possibly here.
Yeah.
And now the parents have already...
But he's landing
watch
far
them.
enough
They're
away.
They're going to come. Watch this now.
Is he getting down?
Yeah, he's down. Oh, you poor thing. Look there they go. Here they come. Here they come.
Wow. Wow. Isn't that incredible? God, you hear of birds being territorial, but
yes.
Wow, I've never seen that.
Yeah.
I knew it happened, but I've never seen it like that.
So these swans will not tolerate the sight of any other swan.
So this is a couple then?
There's always just one pair on the lake.
So it's a male and female?
Yeah, there isn't room for two.
Yeah, but I didn't think the female engaged in this. I thought it was always the male who pushed off the young ones.
No.
You got the message. But you come down here quite a lot, Jim, so you've done lots of video, I'm sure. Have you taken any photographs of them?
I have. I've taken some shots of the egrets here, and they're just a fantastic subject. I mean, you have to be really quiet. And, I mean, this is the reserve is private property, so we're very careful in setting up anything to do with photography and that. You've got to get permission to come in and do it. And then we have to make sure that the most important thing is that the birds and wildlife aren't disturbed. We don't want people just wandering down and thrashing all over the place.
No, of course not. I'm always
close.
saying that. You be really careful. Don't disturb the animals. Don't disturb the habitat.
No.
But tell me, given that they're such a conspicuous bird, are they easier to photograph than other birds, or more difficult?
Well, they're getting easier because they're getting used to people.
Ah, okay.
So, but I remember in the early days, they'd be 100 metres, 200 metres away, and they'd be gone.
Yeah.
Whereas now they've settled in, they realise that we're not hunting them or a danger, and so they'll come a lot closer, like the one, hunting away over there in the corner at the moment. 20 years ago, it would have been off up the other end of the lake. But look at it, like there's hundreds of gulls out there at the moment. There are birds flying around. The godwits and the oyster catchers were here earlier. It's a fantastic time of year because the birds are all getting ready to breed, and it'll change as the summer goes on. Green new reeds will come up, and there was a buzzard flying over earlier as well, and they're new as well, like the egrets. They've only come in back into Ireland in the last few decades.
Well, I don't know how many days it is to Christmas, Jim, but this is an early Christmas Christmas present for me to see the little egret. And it's great to see it doing so well. And I'm delighted that all those years ago you showed me my first one here in Cork, and now you're showing me. Yeah, no. Well, it's great to see them. Thank you, Jim.
No problem. My pleasure.
What an amazing sighting of the little egrets there in Cuskinny Nature Reserve in County Cork.